What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It is I, the Media Goose, your friend Ryan, and the goose is loose, baby. I am here today talking about Monday Night Raw. I think we're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania now, so we are ramping up on the road to WrestleMania. And I thought it was a pretty good show last night, for the most part. Surprisingly, maybe minus the main event, but I'll save that for last. Let's start with the best segment of the night, the opening segment. The show starts with Seth Rollins hitting the ring. The Masked Man thing was less goofy. This week there was less, choreographed shenanigans. It was a little bit more, I think, what they hoped it might look like. And Seth comes out and he's cutting his promo about how he built the vision, so he has to be the one to destroy it. And then, as I have often said, Paul Heyman is at his best when he's disheveled and falling apart, and he stumbles out on stage looking worse for wear, as bad as we have seen Paul Heyman. And he lets Seth keep going a little bit. And he says, "I'm effing with you. F-A-F-O. F-A-F-5. I don't like Brock Lesnar, but that got a pop out of me. That was a really cool execution of that first few minutes. Brock comes out and he tears through all of the masked men. When it was Seth and a couple in the ring, I wasn't sure if that was like his new group. There's been some rumors about Ethan Page, Ricky Saints. I thought they might be in the ring with him, but no. And then as it's just Brock and Seth, the lights go out. And Oba Femi's music hits. The crowd lost their minds. The pop was unreal. That was... I don't like Brock Lesnar, but I can admit the fact that Oba is a bigger star after last night. This is what Brock Lesnar should be doing if he's still around. Helping build young stars. Wow, the pop in the crowd. The fact that Michael Cole said, "Holy shit." I've got goosebumps talking about this segment. It was one of the best executed segments on Raw in a long time. Oba got Brock up with ease, like he was a child, just up and BAM! Huge fall from grace. He gets up, pounding the chest, points at the Mania sign, and I do want to say something. I talk a lot of shit on Brock. I'm pretty sure Brock leaned forward and said, "Step on me. Put your boot on my chest." You can see him, lean forward, get up a little bit, so I thought he might be trying to do that to project his voice more. So, yeah, Brock did everything in that segment to make Oba Femi look like $1,000,000. There were rumors that came out that Brock wasn't going to put anybody over in the next year. Then there were rumors that came out refuting that. I am just going to hope he does the right thing come Mania, because Oba needs this match. He needs a win. This was an A+. This was an incredible opening segment. The bait and switch of, "Oh, we're going to do Brock and Seth. Psych, we heard you. We'll do Brock and Oba." That was incredible. The chanting for Oba... I don't remember the last time somebody had this kind of reaction when they made it to the main roster. This is unreal. And Brock Lesnar did everything he had to do to help get Oba even more over, and I'll tip my cap for that. Then we've got Americano versus Americano. Congrats to Ludwig on winning the Rey de Reyes. There's going to be a presentation on AAA this weekend. I'm going to check that out. But, this match was fine. I don't know. I don't think, when you're trying to milk a feud, I don't like the idea of just continuing to do singles matches between guys. Like, this match should have been saved for Mania. And if it wasn't, it should have been blown off already. I don't get the way it feels like a bunch of feuds have been almost blowing off in the last 2 or 3 weeks when Mania is a month away. So you've been milking all of these feuds, Cody and Drew, like, just to blow them off before Mania? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about some of that. But then we get Roman, or no, let me say at the end of the match, Kaiser gets the win because while Gable is fighting with Bravo, Ryo goes in and puts the metal part of the mask into Kaiser's mask, and Gable does a diving headbutt, knocking him out. This was fine. I just think it gets so much more energy and reaction from AAA that you might just want to finish this story in AAA because there's not a lot of heat left for it on WWE TV. I think you just got to get Gable out of that mask. It's time. Kaiser has surpassed him. Kaiser can stay as Americano. It can become like a face of Foley for him. But let's wrap this up. Then we get Roman and the Usos arriving to the arena, or Roman arrives and meets with the Usos, and they dap up. They touch base, and I predicted Roman would be mad at them. I was wrong. This very much felt like 2022 again with the Bloodline, with Roman going, "No, y'all did what y'all had to do, and I respect that." And it was very Bloodline vibes, and we're gonna get more of that in another segment. Then we get Danhausen. I think this was probably a commercial break promo. I don't know. He comes out, has a shirt, shoots off a one shirt cannon. Then he rips the tarp or whatever it was off of the giant cannon house and shoots out a bunch of shirts to the crowd. He says, Danhausen 316 says, "I just cursed your ass." That was awesome. Loved that. Then we get a Judgment Day recap, which was also like a live promo. It's pretty good. She was saying that since she joined the group, the plan was to get rid of Finn. I hope that whenever Roxanne comes back, she is with Finn, because when she joined the Judgment Day, it was Finn who was seen recruiting her in backstage segments. Then we get Roman and the Usos in a full-on Bloodline backstage promo from back in the day. And Roman says something that I thought was a great line that I've seen some wrestling fans critique online. Roman says, "You can call me a part-timer all you want, but at the end of the day, as long as my wife and kids know I'm a full-time father, that's all that matters." I saw some wrestling fans saying that was like a weak spin, or like, I don't know, like a weak attempt to cover. That's real. He's with his family. You internet fans getting on Roman about not being a full-timer, and the way I saw this segment attacked online by multiple people, it was like, all right, y'all are idiots. Because he's right. What's more important to Roman Reigns at this point? A first ballot Hall of Famer? Being on Raw every week, or being a fixture for your family? Come on. Roman is the man. I love Roman. And then as he's leaving that segment, he goes, "Come on, what's the worst that could happen? CM Punk beats me up?" He does the fake Roman laugh, which always kills me. So then we get AJ Lee versus Bayley, and this was a really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. AJ Lee was very much the aggressor early on, doing a lot of wrestling, a lot of mat stuff, a lot of kind of quick roll-ups and things like that to keep Bayley off track. I thought this was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. There was a really good Bayley to belly for a near fall, then a sidewalk slam. Bayley tries to go up top for her elbow, misses it. Black Widow in. Bayley taps out. And AJ wins. This was a really good match. I really enjoyed this. These two had a lot of chemistry. This was a dream match for these two women individually. I think they both really wanted to work with each other, but then also as fans, this was a dream match. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. And there was a long time of AJ with the fans. And then big time Becky Lynch attacks. So we are likely going to Becky and AJ at Mania. Maybe that's a match that ends up like a triple threat or a fatal four-way, because there's been a few matches I thought might be multi-person matches that are actually just going to be one-on-one. So maybe this is a multi-women. Then we get another awesome match between Penta and Dragon Lee. This match was excellent. This was an absolute banger of a match. I didn't even really write stuff down. I just got lost in enjoying it. This was apparently supposed to be Dragon Lee versus Dom, but Dom is in the concussion protocol after AAA. So Penta and Dragon put on a banger of a match. So damn fun. Penta gets the win, of course. He wasn't going to drop the IC title that soon. But shout out to Dragon Lee, y'all. He had his match with Gunther 2 weeks ago, which was the best match on the card. He has the best match on the card here tonight. Shout out to Dragon Lee. I think he could be somebody who might be in line for an IC title run at some point. Or maybe after Mania, you switch up the rosters and he goes back for the US title, which I think he's won. So this was a really cool showcase for Dragon. Loved seeing it. Then we get Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Paul Heyman backstage. And Paul Heyman tells them that the Vision has no power at this point, and that they need to get the tag titles if they're going to have any power. So their new target is the Usos and the tag team titles. Then we get Maxine and Natty, and this whole show, but every week, entrances take too long. I don't watch my Raw in a legal way, so maybe I'm watching a different, like I'm watching somebody streaming it from a different country, so I don't know when commercials start and end. But these entrances took too long. Maxine just being the smiling, goofy, she looks like it's her first day again. What is this? There was all of this character development, and now she's coming out like this baby face who's just amazed by it. What happened? What happened to intense Maxine? This sucked. Again. I hated it. And I'm pretty sure Natty tapped out Maxine. What the hell was the point of doing all of this different stuff with Maxine just to turn her back into an idiot? A goofy, smiling baby face. This is really bad. This is awful creative. Then Michael Cole's supposed to do an interview with Randy, but Randy says, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing an interview. He was on the phone with somebody. It seems that WWE might be teasing who he was on the phone with on their socials. I would guess it was his father, but maybe not. He says, somebody reminded me who I am, what I am. I'm a killer, and wrestling has more than one royal family. What could that mean? Would Randy call the final boss to come back and get his on Cody? I don't know. Then we get Dragon Lee and Javon in the back. Javon is hyping him up. Then Kofi comes up and Waller. Javon turns down Kofi again. Then it's Danhausen with Kofi and Waller ends up getting cursed. And now it is time for the main event segment. Or no, one more. Stephanie Vaquera and Raquel Rodriguez had a pretty good match. They've got a lot of chemistry in the ring. This was fun to watch. It was more than just like a normal filler Raw match. It was pretty fun. And Io Sky comes out to even the odds because Liv was out there. Is this a match that might not be a singles match? When Io came out, I was pretty surprised. because I thought she'd be firmly in the IC title stuff, but maybe Raquel is. But Io, Stephanie, and Liv would go crazy. Add Io to anything and it improves. So I'd be good with that. But now it's time for the main event segment. As I hinted to in my opening, I didn't like this segment as much. I didn't think this hit as much as I had hoped. I think that Roman doing anything less than coming out here and bloodying Punk was a misfire. I liked everything they did before the segment with Roman throughout the night, but this just didn't feel like an escalation, in my opinion. The way things had felt, this didn't feel like an escalation. And when you had Randy lose his shit and bloody Cody, when that segment ended, I was like, I feel like Roman has to go crazier than this, based on the fact that Punk invoked the name of his father. But the OTC says, this is my show, this is my main event. I open, I'm in the middle, and I close the show. And eventually, Punk joins him, and it's kind of tepid, pretty tepid shit talk. I didn't find this to be all that deep cuts. Like, this felt like a promo for the wrestlers. Like, how do I put it? I don't think the "you're old" thing hit with fans like it apparently hit with wrestlers. I've seen Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, all of the podcasting wrestlers talk about how calling a wrestler old is like a... Didn't feel that way. It did. You're old, and that's the thing that makes Punk swing. Okay. I guess it could be like a meta reference as to how WWE is being criticized for how old their main event scene is. And Roman was saying, you're not faster than me, you're not better looking than me. My favorite line was, I don't know why you enjoy calling me by my government name. I'd call you by yours, but that might disrespect another Samoan named Joe who I actually respect. That was pretty cool. And then Roman was like, yeah, well, ask him who your tribal chief is. He could have said, ask him who beat his ass when he was in this company. But then at the end of the promo, Roman says, like, you know what? I'm done playing around. You're trite. You're redundant. You're boring. I'm better looking. I'm faster. I'm stronger. I'm better than you. And at the end of the day, you're old. And Punk swings. In the moment, my reaction was, oh, this feels like a callback to Punk Cena when Punk told Cena he was the New York Yankees. And then he swung on him. So, Roman, I think I just talked out why this is a good segment. I was saying how it was bad, but they pretty much played back that Punk Cena, you're the New York Yankees, and he swung. And then Punk laid there on the mat smiling. Damn, they remade that moment. I just talked that out. Damn, that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool that they did that. So now it's Roman going, who's in whose head, Punk? So, damn, that's a little better of a segment now that I made that connection in my head. They really ran back a Cena Punk reference with that. And that's pretty cool. And I will be honest, Punk does look old. He looks kind of old to be the top guy. I think there's been a couple matches where he's looked a little old. I thought his Braun Breaker match was bad. His second Finn Balor match was not good. So, I guess I was looking for something a little more violent or aggressive from Roman, but really Roman just went, okay, let's play mind games then. You think you can out-mind game me? You're old, Phil. You're old and slow. So, as I talked through this segment, I liked it more. So, give me your thoughts on Monday Night Raw, y'all. I enjoyed the show. And kind of talking through that main event and putting it together in my head with you guys helped me enjoy that main event even more because it was a reference to Punk Cena. Or at least that's a way I took it. So, we are continuing down the road to WrestleMania, y'all. I am going to do a pro wrestling hot takes video soon where I share takes of mine about like guys who should have been world champions, matches where the wrong decision happened, guys where they should have won, like Damian Sandow should have cashed in successfully on John Cena. Cody Rhodes should have won the briefcase that year instead of him anyway, and then he would have been world champion all the way back then, and he never leaves for AEW. What other hot takes? AEW definitely has better pay-per-views. Revolution was pretty great. A few extra matches, but a really good pay-per-view. So leave me some hot takes down below. What are your hot takes about wrestling right now? Do you think AEW is head and shoulders better than WWE? Comment it down below. Do you think CM Punk is actually outperforming his age? I just said he had a couple matches where he looked old, but then he did have other matches where he looked great. Give me your hot takes. Let me know down below. Do you think Jade is better than I think she is? Because I've been pretty critical of her lately. Give me some things to talk about, and I'll make a video out of it. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments, like the video. The Goose is out. Hey!